Alright, so that took us into the main event, which was the second WarGames match, which featured Kevin Owens, who made his return recently, teaming up with Drew McIntyre and the Brawling Brutes to face off against the Bloodline.
Yeah, I mean, you got, and interestingly enough, both Rollins in the previous match and Reigns in this match, both along with Moxley, who's not there now, of course, but the three of them actually debuted at Survivor Series 10 years ago as the Shield.
They did too.
Yes, they did. It's a bit of trivia there. Roman Reigns today was 818 days as champion, and the Usos 468 days as tag team champions. And for me, we were talking about, WarGames, people who've, contested them before in NXT, whatever. Butch, actually, it was his fourth WarGames match. Yeah, so he was probably the most experienced, I think, out of all of them as far as WarGames. But for me, I thought and I like the way they did it, actually. And I'll be interested in your thoughts on that, because you and I don't always see eye to eye on some of the way they write the stories, which is a good thing. You have a younger person's point of view, and I'm still a bit old school. But the whole Sami Zayn thing, with him and Kevin Owens talking, Jay hears it, talks to the chief, tribal chief, then the chief, speaks to Sami, look me in the eye, blah, blah, blah. And you really thought, now, what do we expect? Do we really expect Zayn to actually turn and maybe help Kevin Owens and everyone's hugging and laughing at the end, da-da-da? Will he stay true? Will he stay loyal? Couple of things happened during the course of the match, and then the super kick from Jay onto Sami, and there was a few ways it could go. But to tell you the truth, and I don't know what you think, and there's a lot about the match to talk about, but for me, the way they ended the match, where Sami was very, very conflicted, but he stuck true, he stuck loyal, he pulled Jay out of the corner in one thingo and one little to save him, and then in the end, when he low blowed Kevin and basically offered Kevin up to Jay to do the frog splash, and he was quite emotional at the end of the match, and he had tears in his eyes, and Jay finally accepted him and gave him the huge big hug, and which makes me think, do they now do the swerve? Because that's something WWE would do. You think, oh, well, Sammy's not going to turn. He's bloodline now through and through, rah, rah, rah. Yeah. But do we get some sort of swerve now? Heading towards Mania or something. It's. I think this, even though this looks cut and dried and done, I think it might actually only be the start of something. I don't know. What do you think? Or am I a bit in fairyland?
No, I honestly thought that going by yesterday's SmackDown and that little conversation, I thought, okay, they're going to start the turn here.
Yeah.
It's going to be either Sami Zayn walks out on the Bloodline and forfeits his spot in the match. Or he was going to, in his way, unintentionally take out Jay. And I just had to mention, I'm like, no, it's going to happen 100%. This is how you start it. You start it there.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was expecting.
That's what I was too, because I was going to say, because I was going like, okay, so the gig hoist Mania.
Yeah.
The match would obviously be Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Usos tag titles.
Yes.
And maybe Sami Zayn maybe they end the reign, maybe. I'm not...
Yeah, well, I mean, that'd be a good tag team to end it.
Yeah. And then, I'm like, it's going to happen. But Jay hit the kick on Zayn. I'm like, oh, are we getting something here?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we getting something.
It started. The first thing I said to myself, I thought it started.
That's what you were for. I'm like, oh, here we go. and then it just like it was just an incidental shot, and as the commentators put it, friendly fire. And then I went, okay, so is he gonna side with Owens now just based on the facts of that, or is he gonna show his loyalty? And obviously, in the end, he showed his loyalty.
Yeah, because I mean, Owens had put the pop-up power bomb and then the stunner on Roman. So for all intents and purposes, that was over. Referee goes 1, 2, and then Owens Sammy grabs his arm not to let the 3 come down.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, okay. Maybe does he want the pin or something?
Yeah, that's what.
And then I must say I did not expect it to end the way it did, which is good because that's old WWE.
Yeah.
Whatever you expect, they give you the opposite.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think that's fantastic. I think that's what you should do. Let the fans think, oh, I know what's going to happen there. Then you do something. You think, oh, wow. But wow in a good way. You're like, oh, far out. I didn't see that coming, but that was really good. And I love the way they did it. Who's the producer of this one?
Was
Hayes?
Yeah, and Hurricane Shane Helms.
Yeah. Hayes always seems to do the main event, and he seems to have done a hell of a lot of the Bloodline matches.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I think he's almost probably batting 9 out of 10 so far for some of his finishes and his stories and the way they do it. Another thing for me in this match, somebody who is fast becoming my favorite wrestler is Solo Sikoa.
Oh, he's great.
He's a bit like he's a combination of Umaga, old school Samoans, like Arthur and Sika type. He's a combination of that from there, Umaga from, well, I was going to say a bit more modern day, for lack of a better word, but with his own little sort of spinner. I reckon he and I know this is going to be a big call, he could become sort of the next Roman Reigns there. Out of the Samoan dynasty when, as they all move on a bit. I think he's got the potential to be sort of the next big thing. I love him. He has the facial expression. He's got the body. He looks like a real old-fashioned sort of brawler, Umaga type, as I've said. Gee, he's got some upside, that kid.
Yeah, he does. And I'm surprised of they waited so long to put him into the Bloodline.
Well, timing, maybe he wasn't quite ready. Maybe they're perfecting the gimmick. You don't know. Look, and you got to do your time because you got to earn, as you know, you got to earn respect in the locker room. You just bring a kid in, and all of a sudden, you sort of got to earn your stripes a wee bit and learn your craft, and they want to make sure he's ready. But when we have great footballers here, but you keep them in the reserves for a while to really hone the craft and, get match fit, so to speak. Because it's one thing wrestling at NXT, it's another thing a main event of a pay-per-view. But I love him. I think he has got some incredible upside. I'm really liking the Brawling Brutes. Butch, I was never a big fan of him when he was, what would they call him before Butch?
Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne. I wasn't a huge fan of Pete Dunne, but I really am a fan of the Butch character. And I think him and that Ridge Holland could be a good team if they're going to sort of do something with Sheamus. The other thing I'm thinking, Anthony, and it's only just come to me, we were talking about a few minutes ago if the Hurt Business got together, or maybe the Hurt Business versus the Brutes.
Yeah, maybe.
Sheamus and the two boys against Lashley and Benjamin and the other one.
Cedric.
Yeah, Cedric Alexander. You never know. I don't know if it'll be a Mania match, but there's something there. But I really like this match. I thought, the way Holland's got speared through the table, Drew McIntyre got taken through a table, KO and Reigns really got into it. And then, as we said, there was the power bomb and the stun, and you thought, shit, this is it. And then Zayn sort of basically started the finish from there, where...
Yeah.
I suitably impressed, I must say.
Yeah, because when they said War Games for this year's Survivor Series, I'm like, oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? Because it's normally two separate pay-per-views brought into one.
Yeah, and I also like too that they made that the Survivor Series tag match in a way. They didn't have it was simply just the two War Games matches. Then it was just a few matches, and then that was it.
Yeah.
But with this match, like I love the way it ended, but I was also thinking since it didn't happen at that point when Jay super kicked Zayn, I was thinking because you mentioned that you were looking that Zayn was looking conflicted at the end of the match, and he had tears in his eyes. I was expecting the turn to happen then.
Ah, like I've done the job, but here's sticking up your jumper.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, again, expect the unexpected, as we say. That. So yeah, it's hard to know whether they're actually going to do the turn now. Maybe they're not. I think the problem is with Sammy being so popular and all that. Did you hear the crowd? And they were chanting Sammy Uso.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether they think, look, this is a bit too hot to kill this off here. I think it'll happen, but I don't think it's going to happen soon. Maybe it happens at Mania because there's always something. Wow, I didn't see that, or
Yeah.
hard to know, but they're doing some good things. And gee, how long has it been since we've spoken about a WWE pay-per-view in glowing terms like we have today? Because really, there was only one poor match on the whole card.
Yeah, look, it was.
Well, I wouldn't even call it a match, but anyway. But so, what did you give this one?
I gave it an 8.
Me too. I went 8s for all of them except that Rousey match, which I got a 3, I think it was.